78% of suicide rates worldwide are men. What can we do to help them? Maybe stop treating them like shit and blaming everything on them. Like dealing with kids. You're probably a pedophile. Being nice to a girl. You just want to get in her pants. Woman goes to school for some BS degree rather than STEM. Somehow that's all men's fault, because apparently we're all misogynists for choices we have no part in. Not to mention a justice system leans in favor of women significantly, so most guys get much harsher sentences compared to women, if the woman is even charged in the first place. I can't even count how many times I've seen sexual assault towards men that wasn't taken seriously. Had it been the other way around, all hell would have been let loose. Top that with the fact we're still expected to be the typical man in the relationship, which essentially means we're stuck providing for everything, even though the typical housewife doesn't exist anymore. Totally acceptable for a woman to have a fun job she enjoys, even if it pays nothing and hardly contributes to the overall income. If you're a guy, you'd better have a good job that pays well even if you hate it, because you've got a family to support. Not only that, but there's zero support for men. Man has a problem? Suck it up, bitch boy. Woman has a problem? Support from everyone she knows as well as support groups designed specifically for women. Being a man in 2020 is hard. You are entirely on your own, blamed for everything, and expected to provide the world. I'm not trying to blame women, but it's extremely obvious how poorly society treats men. Start treating men and women equally. Men. We are heading too far from human nature and inborn needs. The human creature wasn't made for living like this. All this luxury brought to us by technology and multiple innovations is doing more harm than well to us. I can't remember the last time I got complimented on my anything. Do not move to Norway. Girls, please stop using everything we say as blackmail. You ask us to open up, then when we finally do, and eventually things don't work between us, you find comfort in letting all of our private information out. This is why men don't open up. It's not because society taught me to be this way, experience did. My mom knows too much thanks to y'all, and this isn't just a one-time thing. Give them more Huggies. Older men are at greatest risk of dying by suicide. Loneliness, isolation, feelings of being a burden, poverty, and a sense of a lack of purpose are major problems for older adults. Increasing opportunities for older men to be involved and productive in their communities could be really beneficial, for example mentoring programs, social clubs, community service activities, etc. Let men show emotion. Give a shit when they do. Do not be one of those people who thinks saying that's crazy, to get someone to stop telling a story, is cool. More guns? Hard to say. People commit suicide for many reasons. Some commit suicide because financial problems, others because of an existential crisis, some maybe are just in the last stages of nihilism. If someone has reached to the point where they don't see other logical way out of their problems, then you can't help him. And that's the way it is. I dunno, but do it quickly, Plaza. A previous member of the Norwegian royal family committed suicide this Christmas, 50-year-old male. After this, the Prime Minister told the public that she wanted to investigate the mental health of the population, especially for girls. Sometimes I hate politics. We are failing our precious boys. Stop telling boys when they're young they are not allowed to experience natural human emotions. Create an actual support network so that boys aren't reluctant to seek help. Stop telling boys they are worthless if they don't possess psychopathic levels of narcissism and emotional stoicism. Parents need to start taking responsibility for the damage they cause to their kids, instead of just blaming it all on other kids/parents. Society in general needs to reduce the stigma of mental illness, especially when it comes to how it affects young men. Stop telling boys and young men to simply stop being a pussy and deal with it. There are certain scenarios where they do in fact need to man up to a degree, but it just doesn't apply universally. Stop putting almost all the pressure of success entirely on men. We live in a society now where the majority of people need a second income to survive, and it shouldn't be only one sex's responsibility. Stop telling men they are worthless if they don't possess an unattainable standard of wealth and genetics, not to mention an unrealistically ideal family upbringing. Stop allowing men to be completely fucked over in divorce like it should be totally normal. Lawyers and judges are mostly to blame here. I think men mostly feel alone in life, and if they ask for help they feel weak. It's very rarely would you see a men's homeless shelter or a men's suicide hotline or places offering to help men. So even if a guy did want to look for help, he wouldn't have many options to talk to someone who deals with men's issues. We also don't respect men as much as I think we do women. I think it's a problem we put on ourselves to keep everything bottled up inside. And if these men don't see a doctor or therapist, none can study and try to help on an individual case. Wasn't this same question removed/censored earlier? Upvote this more. Can I just say, this thread is so supportive. Everything here is exactly what I've been feeling, and knowing it isn't just me, just a white male, going through life, feeling like I'm not allowed any problems because of my privilege. This is amazing to read. Allow men to actually express their emotions. Bottling up everything negative for the sake of being tough isn't healthy or worth it. Education system reforms favoring teaching methods more relevant to girls leading to more and more boys to drop out. Culture imposing extremely high standards, both emotional and financial. Industry inducing more and more sleeping beauty syndrome in women. No effective contraception methods for men. Too much divorces. Law system favoring females over men regardless of how bad the mother is. Feminism devolving into extreme/militant corrupted versions. A few generations of boys were raised by mothers/teachers trying to remove traits. Boys could no longer be boys. They had to be something else. It crippled most of them. Emotionally immature. Instinct/traits held back. Hidden, the same traits women instinctively looked for without knowing it. Corrupted feminism, education, industry, media, they all contributed to this. They broke something in us. Both girls and boys. The only difference between the two is that without a future, a women wait and hope while men dies. And I'll be included soon because I'm so fucking tired and nothing works. Meds don't work. Therapy doesn't work. I thought being a workaholic would work, but it doesn't. My friend who has been given everything in his life told me to be grateful. Fuck him. He's had every opportunity in his life given to him. Legacy student despite his 2.5 GPA. Given a 70k job in rehab because a fellow junkie took pity on him. Maybe men kill themselves because, like me, they realize the system is rigged and that most have no fucking chance. This is the way. Divorce drives a lot of men to suicide. The standard procedure for divorce, which is statistically initiated by the wife, is incredibly one-sided. A man that has to surrender the majority of his income because there's some ridiculous argument that she is used to a certain lifestyle. The payments for the children are incredibly overtaxed for the father as well. It's not calculated for reasonable living, it's what he's got left after being taxed by his now ex. Now imagine you're barely getting by because you're paying a woman to live the same lifestyle, if not better, along with child support payments, and she can keep the kids from seeing you until they're 18. Goodbye to love, trust, and your money. Why would suicide be surprising from this damage? When a male tries opening up, don't tell them to man up, actually talk to them. I'm 34 and I think I can count on one hand how many times I've been genuinely complimented and not just being manipulated because that person wanted something from me. I was looking at some statistics the other day and the attempted suicide rates between the genders are much closer. In fact, women attempt suicide slightly more frequently. The biggest difference is the method the genders choose to make their attempts. Women are more likely to try methods that they can be rescued from, pills, cuts, etc., whereas men are more likely to use guns. And, unfortunately, if you tried to kill yourself with a gun, you are very likely to be successful.
With